So I am Jim Clancy, and I am the executive director of Cathedral Village. You have to go way back to 1980 when I was a teenager looking for a job, and I got my very first job working in a county nursing home uh, called Neshaminy Manor, and I got it. I was working there as a, excuse me, as a nursing assistant slash orderly. So, and and the funny thing was, is I was a kid who was always very fastidiously clean and neat, and never I couldn't stand like food on the corner of somebody's mouth or whatever. I mean, my parents were convinced I would not make it doing this, and it turns out I worked there 6 years, all through high school and college, and just kind of took me through my career. So I'm a real history wonk, and back in those days, you were talking to people that lived, even prior to the turn of the prior century. So it was neat talking to people who lived in the late 1800s, and guys who had fought in World War One, the Spanish-American War, and just enjoying the music that they listened to. It was fun for me. And I was the one that got them dressed and shaved, and so as a younger kid, I mean, it was kind of a rewarding job to make people happy. The folks that I've encountered over the last 45 years, they've worked very hard all their lives. They've lived through some difficult times, and they've earned the right at this point to be treated with dignity and respect. Sure that these people are they're in their final chapter of their life, and I want to make sure it's the most quality chapter they could possibly have. The folks who live in my community are Vietnam veterans, and they're like retired hippies, and they're active protesters. And I mean, I leave work the other day and I'm driving on Ridge Pike, and there's 40 of my residents out protesting Ukraine. I mean, it was just so cool. I once sang professionally with Paul Anka. I was in a singing group right out of high school. One of my former high school teachers was going for her doctoral degree in music, and she formed this little chamber choir to sing some of the music that she found from the Ephrata Cloister. We auditioned to sing backup for Paul Anka when he was playing at the Valley Forge Music Fair. He did 4 or 5 nights there, and we won. So that's my one professional musical bragging right, that I sang backup with a group. Being a productive member in the community and volunteering. I've been a very, very active Master Mason for 40 years now, and I've served in various capacities. But just working with younger generations, building them, and being a mentor to them, doing things for the community like the Masons do. We're very, very philanthropic. So I'm very much into that side of the world. I have a very small family, so really my family is mostly my coworkers and my brothers in the fraternity. They're a major part of my life. I was the executive director of a retirement community in Pittman, New Jersey, and we had a retired minister who lived there. He was past president of several clubs on the coast of New Jersey. And he walked in my office one day, and I think he was about 92, 93 at the time. And he just walked in and said, "Hey, what are you doing for lunch?" And I said, I don't have any plans. And he's like, "Well, are you in the Rotary?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, you need to be. So put your jacket on, and I'm going to pull the car around. We're going to drive to a Rotary meeting. I'm going to bring you out and so you can see what it's like." And that's how I got introduced. I was introduced to the Pittman Rotary Club, which was a rather small club. We probably had, we maybe had 15, 20 members that regularly came out to lunch. And got involved there, and did a few things, and became president in 2009, 2010, and then again in, read my plaque real quick, 2014 to 2016. I took 2 terms. And it just again, it was something that I could do to promote service. Became an assistant governor at one point, got a Paul Harris Fellow, and just didn't feel the same kind of warmth that I feel. I haven't felt that for quite a while, and I didn't feel it until I joined Chestnut Hill. I got that feeling back, so I'm thrilled to be back in the Rotary world and see what I can do there. My first impression, I mean, everybody just walked up to me. They were very friendly, very welcoming. Wanted to know how I connected with the club. Very engaging. got to know me, and I felt, this is what it's supposed to be like. And I didn't feel this before. I did in Pittman, but I just thought I just got and the people reminded me of the people who live here. Very down to earth, very, very educated. Good people, good volunteers. And I thought, well, I think this could be a good place for a Rotary home. I'm excited that it's continuing to grow, and it just seems like we're always bringing in new members, which is really awesome. Hoping to get involved and sit on a committee maybe.